Okay, we're in the middle of altering the script to see if you typed in a command line, and if you did, don't prompt you for the name, just use what you typed in. Okay, so I'm demoing the if statement and the little $pound at the same time. So let's just ignore the if statement part for just a minute. Okay, so it's, again, don't worry about what I'm typing just yet. Okay, so then this is where if it's not equal to 0, then I want you to, echo the, ask you to enter the name, right? So if I do, now then I need an else statement. Else, and then I would say name is equal to $1. Okay, $0 is the name of the command. That's the first thing that you entered on the command line. $1 is the second thing you entered on the command line. $2 is the third thing. So 0 is always the name of the command. 1 is the thing after that. And then I'm going to do fi, which is the opposite of if. Now again, don't worry about the if syntax. We're going to be talking about that in a minute. What I'm trying to show you is the $pound counts the number of variables, okay? Not variables, arguments. So if it's not equal to 1, I want you to print something. Cool? All right. If it is equal to 1, well then screw it. I already know what the name is. All right, so let's change this. Let's do this. Okay, so first I'm just going to do it the same way we did it before, which is just, dang. And it's prompting me for my name. So I say Bob. Yay. And the next time I'm going to do it, I'm going to say John. And see, it didn't ask me this time. It knew that I had typed something on the command line. Cool. Okay, so all that stuff on page 203 is about how you can do that, how you can check to see what's on the command line. The ones that I use a lot of is the pound dollar. Okay, use that a lot. I use $0, $1, $2. There actually is a way that you can do a thing called the shift. If, like, for example, let's say you didn't know how many things were typed in. It could be like 40 or 50. So you could just say, like, this is a command called shift, which means just give me the next one. Give me the next one, give me the next one, give me the next one, rather than saying, I want number 14. Because, sometimes you might not have 14. Okay, cool beans. And then one of the cool ones is a $? Which is an error number from the last command. That's kind of weird. Okay, so on page 203, take a look at those things on how you can look at the command line from inside your application. Cool. All right. On page 205, they finally get to this point where we're doing flow control, like if statements. Now, I'm sure you guys have taken some programming class, and you know what an if statement does. So there's an if and an else, and maybe an else if, and an end if, that kind of stuff. Okay. Well, in our world, I'm gonna, I think I'm gonna have to change this example up to make it kind of work. Okay, I'm gonna get back to the letter grade thing. All right, I'm expecting you to give me a letter grade on the command line because I'm not gonna prompt you. Okay, so instead of this thing echoing this, right? I want to have an error message. I'm expecting you to have one and only one parameter. So if you don't have, so not equal to, okay, not equal to. Actually, I guess I should bring this guy up. Hang on just a second. Whoop. So not equal to. So the weird part about this is one of the strange things about this language, is the operators for strings are not the same as the operators for numbers. If I want to ask if name is equal to Bob, I would do that. But if I'm going to try to find out if it's equal to 5, I would do that. I know it's weird, okay? Just one of those things you have to kind of get used to. Okay. Let me get back. All right. So instead of doing this, I want to echo out. First of all, I'm going to echo out. echo out the name of the command that we're running, the name of the application. How do you do that? I guess since I'm the author, perhaps I know what the name of the application is, right? But what if I renamed it? You know? So I'm going to say $0. $0 is going to display the current name, which is kumquat.sh. And then maybe a colon or something that basically just says something like this. Script is expecting numeric grade as a parameter. That's probably a little long-winded. Okay, and then I'm going to put all this in quotes to make sure that everything works the way it expects. Okay, cool. And then I want to redirect that to the standard out and to the standard error at the same time. Cool. And then I go down to here, and I'm not reading anything now. I'm exiting, right? So I'm just going to basically just change all this and have it do an exit 1. Oops, doggone it. Come on. Exit 1. So if you did not put something on the command line, I want you to spit out an error message saying, hey man, this script is expecting something, and you're an idiot and by not doing it. So there, boom. Okay, exit. Now I don't really need the else. And so I'm just going to do a DD on that, a DD on that, right? So that means this thing's done. I mean, if you don't type in a number, you're done. And I'm not prompting you for anything, so I'm going to go ahead and just do a DD here. Okay, so now I'm pretty much well assured that what you typed in, going back to the original script here, I'm pretty much sure what you typed in is going to be the score. Now, I'm not doing any input validation here. I'm just assuming that you're not making a mistake, okay? Which is probably a bad assumption. So I'm going to say score is equal to $1. Now, I know that there is a $1. I know there is because the machine said I have the only way I can get to here is if the number of items on the command line was exactly 1. So I know there's a $1. Cool. All right. So there's my score. So I've assigned it to the score. So using the little script here, it says, so then I want to have some if statements that basically convert this to a letter grade. Okay. So here's my first if statement. My first if statement is going to be pretty straightforward. It's just going to ask me if the score is greater than or equal to 90 because that's the way I do things. So I said if, square bracket. By the way, the spaces before and after the square bracket are kind of sort of required. Don't ask me why. Now, I have to use $score, right? Because otherwise, when I created it, I didn't use a $. When I created a variable called score, I did not use a $. But to use it thereafter, I have to use it. And then using that chart, greater than or equal, would be GE because these are numbers. Okay, 90. And then square bracket. Now, I like my then statement to be on the same line. That's just a personal preference. You don't have to do that. You could put the then on the line underneath it, but it's just a practice of mine that I've always done that way, so I'm going to continue to do it. But I basically need to have, if I put the then out there, I'm going to have to use a semicolon. Because the semicolon is the thing that says there are two things on a line. It's just as if you had typed 2 lines, okay? Now, so you don't have to do this, okay? Okay? And then I'm going to say letter grade is equal to an A, okay? Cool beans? And then I'm going to say I want to do an else if. And in this language, it's elif. Like an elephant, elif, and then it does over again. Score greater than 80, and this time I'm not going to do that. I'm going to do this, and I'm going to type then letter grade. Hey, it might help if I spell letter grade the same both times, huh? And then LF, and keep going. Okay. So one time I used the semicolon then at the top. So one time I didn't. Except I need to go up here and fix this. Okay. Dang it. I keep hitting the wrong dang keys. Alright. So now I need to keep going. Score is greater than 7. Greater than or equal to 70. And if so, I'm sorry, I'm a creature of habit, so I'm just going to go ahead and type then. Up here, letter grade is equal to a C. And then just keep going. LF score greater than 60. Dang it. Then letter grade is equal to a D, and then else letter grade is equal to an F, because I don't care what the value is if it's not greater than or equal to 60, right? And then to end the sky I need an if, if, and then FI backwards. I guess they were being actually, that bugs me. I'm gonna go back and change that so they're all consistent. The only reason I showed you that was just because, if you saw this in a book somewhere, they might do it slightly different than the way I'm doing it. Okay, so let's just go through this, and actually what I need to do is to pop up this thing one more time. Okay. So line 1, some sort of direction on which shell to use. Yep, that's the shebang. Number 2 is the comment. Yep. Number 3, if the number of command line arguments is not equal to 1, that's an if statement with the $pound. Display a usage message and then exit with an error code, but an error code with something other than 0. In the if statement, put the command line argument into a variable and then if the score, blah, 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 blah. And then display the letter grade and exit. That's all we got to do. Okay, so we're almost done. So I need to get down to here. And then I say echo letter grade. And that will spit out the thing. So in theory, I fulfilled that requirement from that pseudocode. Let's go through it one more time. The first line is the shebang, which tells which script to use, which scripting language I'm using. I'm using the Bourne Shell script. The second is just a comment that says what this thing does. The third line is complex. It's an if statement using square brackets. And then the $pound, which means how many things were typed on the command line. And then echo something, and then exit with an error code, and then pick the score out. Since I know there's only one, I could just use $1. And then check to see if the score is greater than 90, greater than 80, greater than 70. All right, let's try this. So first thing I'm going to do, is just type in kumquat.sh without providing any parameters. And it comes back and says, hey man, this script is expecting a numeric grade as a parameter. So that worked, didn't it? Okay, so I'm going to do this again. I'm going to type 88. And it says, you made a B. Ta-da! Okay. By the way, watching someone type in a script is not the way to learn it. The only way you're going to learn this is if you actually do it yourself. So you can't learn scripting by watching me. Your fingers are going to have to touch the keys. Okay, it's a good place for a stopping point. I'll see you guys in just a second.